I just didn't find satisfaction in what I was doing, and I knew I'm better than this.
For a lot of businesses, like, you don't even know the trajectories for the first 3, 4, 5 years.
I've seen people in gyms do it, bro. Just
Really?
crack people's necks, PTs, and I'm like, yo, what's going on here? It's all about your work. If you're not good at what you do in terms of, your actual treatment, what you're offering to the person, no one's going to be interested. They'll do 1 or 2 sessions with you and that's it.
As soon as I met you, and as soon as you done your magic, I knew straight away this guy's, top guy.
At the end of the day, you're here today, you're gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
You want to be remembered for something.
See, one of the biggest things that people don't do is think. So this is another skill altogether. It's not thinking of ways to make money. You gotta think, what am I doing with the money I'm making right now? Welcome back to my channel where we discuss property, business, lifestyle and well-being. If this is the first time you are visiting my channel, then please hit the like and subscribe button. So in today's episode, we have Bilal, who is the proud founder of Sports Rehabilitation. He works with a lot of high-profile athletes in Manchester for recovery. He's also my personal sports therapist. He's extremely knowledgeable, so I can't wait to speak with him today and see what he has to say. Tell me a little bit about your background and what experiences you have, and what do you like to be called? Like, are you a sports therapist? Just fire away in your own words.
So I've been on quite a ride, and I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people, when they ask me about my background and my history,
Yeah.
I'm 27 years old, bro. I'm born and bred Manchester.
Yeah.
I'm proper Mancunian. You probably tell from my accent,
Yep,
I've got
yep.
a proper Manny accent. So, I've been on a ride. I've kind of born and raised in Manchester. I went to school in Manchester.
Yeah.
I obviously was very good at, I was good at sport. And I was good at science. So when I went to college, I liked sports science. It just kind of fell into place.
Perfect, right?
Yeah, I like sports science.
Yeah.
And I actually got the inspiration from one of my PE teachers in school, Mr. Richardson. He was just like someone who I looked up to. He was a good laugh.
Shout out to Mr. Richardson.
Shout out to Mr. He was a good laugh. Stretford High School. I mean, all the boys got on with him. And he just kind of he kind of got me understanding that, sport, and science is science, but there's actually ways you can bridge this together.
Yeah.
Then, went into college, did a sports science course. And then there's different routes you can go into, what I'm classed as a sports rehabilitation therapist. So I did a degree in sports rehab. So the different courses you can do, there's physiotherapy, which is a different course.
Okay.
There's a different kind of governing body for that as well. So you come under a different kind of category. And a physiotherapist is actually anyone can't just call themselves a physiotherapist. It's a certain title that if you are to call yourself a physiotherapist and you're not licensed correctly, you can actually get penalised for that.
Okay.
You can have a court case against you. Then you have sport rehabilitation therapists. We're governed under a governing body called BASRAT. And then there's another one called sport therapists. So I think it's SST, so Society of Sports Therapists. So they're 3 different branches. Now, so I did the degree in sports rehabilitation. So I graduated in 2017. It was a 3-year course. Started in 2014, ended in 2017.
So you've done 3 years, yeah?
3 years, but I've done
learning.
Yeah, and 2 years in sports science prior to that in college. And in
So
school,
5 years, yeah?
In school, I did a 2 years, like a BTEC sports.
Got it.
But throughout all this time, throughout all the learning, I also did a lot of background, little kind of certification in coaching. So handball, football, cricket. Cricket was the sport I used to play.
Yeah.
Leadership, communication skills. So I was one of them. If I found any course and it was like, they were like, Bilal, jump onto that. I'm like, cool.
Somewhat helpful to you.
Yeah.
I'm jumping on it.
So I've always had that mindset in my head where just be a go-getter, continue to build yourself, develop your skills.
Yeah.
And even if sometimes you can learn something from far.
Yeah.
And you can just pour it into the way you deliver your service or deliver the way you are as a person, the way you communicate to people.
Yeah.
So after I finished my degree, I actually got a very good opportunity where I actually got a job opportunity in the Middle East, in Dubai. So this all just came by chance. I actually didn't even plan any move. I'd been to Dubai a couple of times just on holidays.
Yeah.
And then I got this opportunity, and then, you know, I took permission from my parents firstly, like, are you happy with me moving abroad? Just because I was the eldest son, I was 21 years old at the time. There's a lot that can come out of it, you know. So I thought, right, my parents were like, yeah, you know, you have our permission, go ahead. Moved over to Dubai at the end of 2017. I think it was end of 2017. I moved. So it was quite a quick turnaround. Imagine you just finished uni, and the next thing you know, you got a job opportunity in Dubai. You're 21 years old. Everything's happening at 100 miles an hour. So I took the plunge. I was like, you know what, the world's my oyster.
Why not?
Yeah, the world's my oyster. I can literally go there and, you know, build myself. So that was my intention: go there, learn, develop. I always loved the Middle East. I know everyone at that time. Dubai was still growing as well, so it was a good opportunity and a good time for me. So I went over and I lived there for just under 2 years, and then I moved back to the UK prior to COVID. As soon as I moved back, COVID hit, so it wasn't probably the best timing, if I was honest with you.
So how long were you in Dubai for?
So just under 2 years. I moved back at the beginning of 2019.
Right.
Yeah, so it was around that time when I moved back. Then I was actually unemployed for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And then I got hired by another company where I was doing private medical insurance claims.
Yeah.
Then COVID came into the picture. Then in that time frame where COVID happened, I started thinking, you know what, I need to do more. You know what I mean? I can't just be stagnant. And I know there's more to me than just working behind a, you know, remote working. There's a lot more to my life. I've always done hands-on work for a lot of my friends, a lot of people in the community. Prior to Shifa, just when I was doing my sports massage courses in college, so they were just like, you know, loving the treatment, and they were like, yo, Bilal, you know, why don't you start a company? People are going to love your work. So all that started to come into kind of my plans, and I thought, right. And I spoke to my missus. We were on holiday in Morocco, and I was sat on a balcony with her, and I go, you know what, I'm not happy. Like, there's something that isn't.
You're not happy in what you're currently doing,
yeah,
right?
I just had no, like, you know, alhamdulillah, everything was there. Like,
We're
you
just
know,
demotivated.
Yeah, I just didn't find satisfaction in what I was doing, and I knew I'm better than this.
Yeah.
And that was the main thing. I know I'm better than this. So I said to her, like, I want to do something, and I want to whatever I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make it the best thing that I can possibly. I'm gonna put 110% into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I thought that's the way it kind of started building. Then came up with the name, and I launched Shifa Rehabilitation in November 2021. So it's not been long, but I've been doing rehab, hands-on therapy for a long
years.
time.
Yeah,
so it was like all the skills that you built up over years, and then
You just put it into practice.
put it into practice. And you know what? Like with any business, it takes time to get going. It took me about 6 months.
Bro, that's really good.
Yeah.
It does, you know, for a lot of businesses, like, they don't even know the trajectories for the first 3, 4, 5 years sometimes. Like, at least 3 years.
It's true, bro.
6 months is like, it just shows that the effort that you put in them 7, 8 years, what people don't know about, is paying off quicker.
That's the way I kind of looked at it, in a sense, where I was like, okay, so in November, I'm talking, I was doing 1 or 2 bookings a week, up until July. And come July, I don't know, you know, something changed and people started noticing me more. I was out there, I was working with a lot of athletes, a lot of people within Manchester, a lot of well-known, you know, MMA athletes, footballers, cricketers, etc. And then I just kind of took off. It was just like, whoa, like, what's just happened here, you know?
So talking about MMA, boxing,
Yeah.
footballers, like, I know myself, like, you work with some of the A-list stars in that game, right?
Yeah.
So what's that been like for you? And, you know, can you share with who you worked with?
Yeah, of course. I've worked, you know, with a lot of up-and-coming fighters, but also a lot of fighters have been in this, you know, field and this sport for a long, long time, especially MMA.
Yeah.
I can definitely talk about these guys. So, you know, up-and-coming fighters, there's a lot in Manchester. A lot of them come out of Manchester top team and surrounding gyms in Manchester. But the main guys that I've really worked with, Kane Musa, very well known in Manchester. Kane's, you know, the owner of Bada Sports. Brendan Lotnane, so he's now the PFL.
He's the one that won the belt, didn't he, just recently?
PFL featherweight champion. Absolutely amazing guy, and he's just like so much knowledge. I learned a lot from Brendan during his fight camp. Just kind of being around him, understanding how motivated, how disciplined he was. By far one of the most disciplined fighters I've ever worked with. I wouldn't say fighter, I say athletes I've ever worked with. And you know what? He's been, I think, 16 years in the making.
Is it?
16 years, a lot of ups and downs. And to see, obviously, I didn't know Brendan in terms of like person to person prior to this. I didn't know him personally, but you know, throughout that camp, I actually got to know him. and he's, you know, very genuine, very humble.
Yeah.
I've also worked with Mohammed Makayev, he's a UFC fighter. I've worked with recently one of the Manchester City footballers, Cole Palmer. So yeah, the list is growing.
You know what happens once you get your foot in once? Like athletes, you know, people are not stupid.
Yeah,
Once they start knowing that, you know, this guy's the guy who I want on my team, and then you'll just start getting busy and busy, right?
that's
And you
how
must
it
have
works.
noticed it,
That's
yeah.
how it works. Yeah, yeah. And you know what? I always just say to myself, I go, yeah, it's great having these amazing big fighters, but the
Yeah.
one thing is, and I say it to everybody, it's all about your work.
Yeah.
It's all about the effort you put in, the graft you put in, you sharing your skill set. If you're not good at what you do in terms of, you know, your actual treatment, what you're offering to the person, no one's going to be interested. They'll do 1 or 2 sessions with you and that's it. But you really have to put in the time, the effort. You know, I'll be honest with you. Brendan was, I worked with him in his semi-final. So the semi-final prior to the final, where he's fighting an American called Chris Wade, and so what happened is, obviously, sometimes you have to work out. I was in this business because you have to cater to these guys, like especially MMA guys. They have a mad schedule, man. And just learning that from Brendan, there's training.
How many times do you train a day?
Some days I'm sure he was training 3 times a day, 2 times a day.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you got to implement recovery into that, nutrition into that, sleep into that. Obviously, you know, you're your own brand in that situation. So sponsorships, they're all things you got to consider as well. So I always talk about, you know, when you work with these guys, you understand how much they have to actually manage. But the main thing they have to really prioritize is their performance.
Yeah.
And, you know, with everything going on, that's where it was a learning curve for me when I was like, right, you know, that's crazy to think how much these guys actually have to do. And the main thing's injuries, bro, because injuries are a killer, man. And obviously in MMA, injuries are a big thing that come into place, because it's not just like, for example, football, where you're expected to have, you know, you're most likely to have certain types of injuries. At MMA, you can actually injure probably any joint in the body at any moment through anything. And it's you know, and that's the thing with fight camps is, you know, these guys are really pushing their bodies in all elements. And obviously the one thing they prioritize is their recovery. And that's where I came into play, where I was like, cool, doing all the hands-on treatment, mobilization, the stretching type of sessions with them, just to keep their body in the best shape they possibly can.
Yeah.
And obviously for them, it's also preparation. When they go into fight, in their head, they want to know they've left no stone unturned. And mentally, exactly. And preparation is a big thing. And I used to talk to it about Kane as well, about preparation. He kind of said, yo, that's what it's all about. Like, I want to go into the fight knowing I've done everything I possibly can to win.
What do you like to be known as? Sports therapist or
so
clinician? What?
Yeah, so basically, if you were to, we call ourselves musculoskeletal clinicians.
Okay.
Yeah, but the actual term that we come under of the governing body is graduate sports rehabilitators. So GSR is what our actual title is. So that's what we come under my degree, under what my qualifications are.
Okay, so I've got questions here for you. So I'm going to go through all these questions, yeah?
Yeah, go ahead, no worries.
So as a clinician, as a therapist, what do you find to be the most challenging barriers with patients and, you know, clients and that sort of thing?
It's actually sometimes the most challenging thing.
Cancel last minute.
Cancel last minute, that can be a bit of a bummer. Yeah, that does play a factor in, obviously, a business side of things. But on a patient basis, it's actually like confidence and laziness.
Right.
A lot of people want to be spoon-fed.
Yeah.
But they don't want to put the work in themselves.
Yeah.
They're all looking for a quick fix.
Yeah.
You know, there's no quick fix in this.
Like you're going to come and just fix something.
it.
Right.
Like I always say to people, and I remember when we had our first session, I said, look, I'm going to do my best in the 60 minutes, 90 minutes that I do the session with you to get the best result. If that best result means pain relief, if that means increasing your range of movement, if that means educating you, then I'm going to do that. But at the end of this, the hands-on treatment is a short-term modality.
Yeah.
You have to then look at the other elements of your life and look at what elements of your life you need to change in order for your own betterment, in order for you to improve physically, mentally, emotionally, however you want to improve, whatever your goals are.
Yeah.
So usually for me, how I'll do it is, for example, someone's presenting with lower back pain. They've had the session with me. I said, right, I'm going to give you a rehab plan, 6 exercises. I want you to do X, Y, and Z. And it's holding them accountable for that. Like, look, if you want to Sometimes I check in with people just to see how you're getting on. And one thing people don't know, that is I actually have access to those exercise plans, and I know if you are doing them or not. So it tells me when you're online, when you're offline.
Oh, they're just chatting shit.
Or they're just chatting waffle, and I'm like, okay. And you know what? It all just, again, it's holding them accountable. So, you can come to me for a sports massage, and you can, if you're saying, like, just want a sports massage, fair enough. But if you're coming to me, like, listen, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that, cool, I'll guide you on it. But you need to make the effort.
Yeah, you need to put the work in, right? Because it's like what you do is just one piece of the puzzle.
Exactly.
And I've personally experienced that as well, because I've noticed that when I make sure that, for example, if I'm seeing you on a Sunday, that week, if I've ate right, if I've stretched right, and if I've drank my water every day, the deep tissue that we work on is just so much smoother.
Exactly.
But then when it's not, everything's just painful.
Exactly. And you know what? As a therapist, I notice it. I notice it when I treat people. I notice those people who are basically then. I know they, and you know what? It's normal sometimes to have a bad week.
Because
life is life. At the end of the day,
yeah.
everyone's busy. Everyone's got their own things going on. Stress of life as well is also a big element. But like in every treatment session, the first couple of questions I always ask the person is, how have you been? How's work been? How's your week been?
Because you're finding out as much.
Yeah, how's your sleep been? You've been drinking enough water? How's your diet been?
Yeah.
All these type of things. And I always kind of want to gauge an understanding of, had this person really took on board what I've said?
Yeah.
I say some people do, some people don't.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's always going to be like that.
That's it.
So what areas of recovery do you think people most neglect the most, and what advice can you give to them to make sure that, as long as they stay on top of the 2-3 things?
The first thing I would say that I feel personally is the most important is sleep. Now, this varies person to person. Some people, they can go off 4 hours sleep, 5 hours sleep, but some people, they need 8 hours minimum. Now, this is going back to my experience working with Brendan. Just in conversation, we were talking, and I was like, bro, just talking, like, what do you feel you need to perform at your best? And he goes, bro, Bilal, sleep.
Really?
I go, if I don't sleep, my body feels it. Now, is this something that's been instilled in him since a young age? And or is it actually an element of recovery? In my opinion, it's a big element of recovery, because when you're sleeping, your body's having that time to recuperate. It's actually giving you, if you're, for example, you've been training all the time, your muscles are growing when they are resting as well. So obviously that's one of the most important things, sleep.
Yeah.
Second thing, nutrition. What you are what you eat. So if you are not eating the right things, for example, you're a regular gym goer, you've not got enough protein in your diet, you're not got enough carbohydrates in your diet, you're basically eating, takeout
just
foods,
anything.
Yeah, of course that's going to have a detriment.
Hobnobs.
Yeah, exactly. Hobnobs or whatever you want to call it. A lot of people will just have a detrimental effect on their performance, on their day-to-day life, and on their recovery, because you're not giving your body the fuel it needs to recover.
Yeah.
And I think the final thing is probably hydration. A lot of people don't drink enough water, man. And I ask this question on every, kind of session as well. How much water have you drank today? And some of the results I get are shocking, like absolutely shocking, bro. I just had about 2 glasses. Or, for example, 1 litre. I go 1 litre all day, bro. Yeah. What you been up to today? Working, driving here, driving there, doing this, training, this and that. And I go, you're not drinking enough water. Like, come on, man, it makes no sense. Your body is 60% water.
Yeah.
You need to drink water. You need to actually ensure that, water doesn't just help your muscles, your muscle bellies. It actually helps you for mental clarity as well. So, you're affecting your performance, but you're also affecting your recovery in that element as well. So that's something they're the 3 things that I feel are probably most important. Massages, they're an add-on. They're actually an add-on. That's like, if you feel a massage is great to add into your recovery plan, as long as you are tackling all other elements of your recovery.
That's like a privilege type
Exactly.
thing.
And a lot of people, unfortunately, just think a massage is recovery, an ice bath is recovery.
They think the opposite, innit?
Acupuncture, cupping, everything, they're recovery. No. That's not recovery. They're an extra element of recovery. Look at the other things. Look at what you can do yourself.
Yeah.
And focus on them things first. Focus on your sleep. Focus on your nutrition. Focus on your water. Focus on your activity levels. Focus on how much you're resting as well. If you rest enough, if you eat properly, you drink enough water, you're training sensibly, periodically, you have a good plan in place, and you're getting all those things in the right pattern, your performance is going to be, benefiting, your recovery is going to be optimal, then you can look at, okay, let's add in sports massage, let's add in, seeing a chiropractor, let's add in seeing a ice bath, or whatever. There's so many different modalities, and they're the things that then I say, there's a couple of things that are essentials for recovery. Focus on them first. Then look at the other elements.
Interesting. So how 2 questions on the back of that. So firstly, like, you're talking about water, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much water should a guy drink, and how much water should a girl drink? Like on average every day.
Yeah. So I always say it depends on, obviously we look at the individual, the size of the individual. So we call it BMI, even though BMI is probably not the most accurate thing, if I'm honest with you, but just as a rough gauge. So for example, myself, I am 5'11".
You have what?
I'm 5'11" in height,
Yeah.
5'11",
Yeah.
and I am 83 kilograms.
Right.
So in terms of a BMI, I kind of sit up like a normal, good weight BMI for my category. So for someone like myself, in my opinion, I need to drink a minimum of 2.5 liters of water.
Right.
A day, minimum 2.5 liters. Now, if I'm doing more activity, maybe I should increase that to 3 liters.
So just to correct you, so if you're just sat there all day today, you need to drink 2.5 liters.
Yeah, 100%.
And then if you're moving,
if you're more active,
you need to drink more.
Definitely need to drink more, because obviously what water does is it keeps your body regulated. For example, it keeps your body regulated. If you're training all the time, when you're training, you develop something called lactic acid, and if you're drinking enough water, you actually remove waste product from within your body through urination, etc. And you asked about females. Again, kind of same concept. You got to look at the BMI for a female. And, depending on where they average, I feel a female should be drinking at least 1.5 to 2 liters, depending on the activity levels. So, there are elements that I feel water is key, man. And a lot of people don't drink enough water.
Yeah.
It's
and that's just so simple, right?
It's
and water's free as well, right?
It's free, bro. You can do it only as a bottle. You can refill the bottle and just drink the water, man. It's only going to benefit you, and it's going to affect your mental clarity, your mental performance, your physical performance. It's going to affect all elements of yourself. I mean, it's going to be better for you. So why don't you do it?
Yeah. What about sleep? Because you said that's a huge thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you ask someone a question like how many, like I need 7 hours sleep a day, or I need, now I don't know where that numbers come from, but what is the correct number?
There's no correct number, bro.
Okay.
Science is always changing on it.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to, look, as humans, we're creatures of habit.
Yeah.
So some people, they can actually go off 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep, and just function completely fine. That's just the way they are. It's what they've developed over years of being, their own person.
Yeah.
Why is sleep important? Everyone asks it. So why is sleep important? So when you're sleeping, that's when your body, like I say, is regrowing.
Yeah.
Say for example, if you're training your muscles after MMA training, gym, etc. In your sleeping time is when your body's actually repairing the tissues, the tendons, the muscle, etc. So if you are not having adequate sleep, you are actually having a negative effect on the amount of your muscle growth, your recovery in terms of your muscle, your performance, which will basically have a detrimental effect on your performance.
Yeah.
So a lot for me, as an individual, I think I can go off 7 hours of sleep. That works for me. Science is always different. It always says, some people can actually benefit from X amount, people can benefit from X amount, but it all comes down to individual. Like you say, we're humans, we're all creatures of habit. What works for you, but I feel you need to ensure you're getting good quality sleep.
Yeah, and your body will tell you, right?
Exactly. So good quality sleep is, your sleep can be broken up into, you have light sleep, REM sleep. There's different periods within your sleep that you have that affect the quality of your sleep. And if you're having good quality sleep, so a lot of guidances people say is not to drink water. I think is 1.5 hours before you sleep, because obviously you naturally end up wanting to go to the bathroom throughout the night, which will break up your sleep. The other elements is of sleep is essentially not having too much light exposure, so not being on your phone, which we are all kind of guilty for. We're all on TikTok, let's be honest, before we sleep, and that's actually not good, because it affects your brain. It affects the amount of time your body takes to kind of actually switch off and fall asleep. So there's a lot of science that's kind of coming out about sleep. I personally think is probably the most important. And you know what, through all the top performing athletes that I've worked with, they actually say, bro, sleep is the most important thing for me.
Sleep, yeah.
So there's obviously some form of correlation
Nervous
here.
system or something's attached,
Yeah, there's
right?
some form of correlation here. If the
100%.
highest performing athletes in the world are saying they benefit from sleep, that's what they find to be the highest component of their recovery,
Yeah.
then surely there's something there that, plus science does also back it as well.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's so many fast track courses, right, that where you probably go on there for 24 hours now and you can just become an expert, right? So, and it'd probably be same in your game, right? So, what as someone who's like, I'm happy because I've got you, right? Now
Yeah.
you're gonna get exposure, right? And then you're gonna get booked up. So make sure you're always available for me, right?
Oh, 100%. That's always going
That's
to be
what
the case.
happens. It's like you're barber and you think you
No,
can't tell people who they are.
We're always going to be there, bro. Don't worry,
Yeah.
don't worry.
But what should somebody, if they're looking for a therapist, like what are the signs that they should look for to make sure that this person's quality? I mean, for me, because I've been training 18 years and I've had like a dozen of therapists throughout the way, as soon as I met you and as soon as you done your magic, I knew straight away this guy's,
Yeah.
top guy. But how would someone know, and someone average guy, like,
Bare minimum. Look,
Yeah.
there's a lot of cowboys in this game.
yeah, it might just show a certificate, right?
But the main thing is, look at their qualifications.
Yeah.
Never be afraid to ask the therapist their qualification.
Like, what are they? Understand it, yeah?
Where
have you got that from?
Where have you got
eBay.
What are you qualified? yeah. What are you qualified as? And have you got a degree in this? Are you insured? Insurance is key. Look, you're actually giving someone like you come to me. You're trusting me with your body.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of a lot of modalities that can be used that are actually dangerous. They can actually have a detrimental effect on the person.
Right.
So you want to ensure the person you're seeing actually knows what they're doing, and they're actually insured for what they're doing.
Yeah.
Two main things: look at the insurance, the qualification. Make sure they're insured, and look at their portfolio. Now, look at who they work with, and also look at the content they put out. Now, obviously, social media, a lot of businesses like myself use social media to kind of showcase what we do, and I showcase what I do through social media, through my page on Instagram, and just through that, and obviously reading reviews, you will be able to get a better picture of what the actual individual are. They really who they say they are? Are they just they've done a quick course? And also ask about the experience, man. Like, experience is a very big thing. Like, I've been very fortunate in my experiences that I've had.
Yeah.
Going back and then working within professional sport in different ranges of sport, and then obviously working within the NHS for a short period as well, and then working within private companies. I can actually show my experience. So look at their portfolio, look at who they are as a person and what are they showing. And before you book in with them, make sure you ask them if they are qualified and insured. Trust me, there's a lot of people here that I see. Honestly, I see people like random videos on Instagram cracking people's necks and this and that. And it's like, for me, I'm there as a clinician, like, oh my God, what's going on here? Like, so many things just trigger in my head. Like, was that person safe to have a manipulation? Did they clear red flags? Did they do this? Did they do that? What? And then I actually have heard so many horror stories.
Really?
So many horror stories. And it's actually sad to hear because it puts a bad image on our industry. So there are a couple of things that I always say to people, make sure you look at.
Let's talk about that neck manipulation and back
yeah.
manipulation, right? Because, bro, I watch them videos and
Yeah.
feels good watching someone's neck getting cracked, right?
Yeah.
Now, is that actually like a proper practice, or like how does that someone needs to be qualified to do that?
What they're doing there is called a manipulation, or also known as adjustment. The main kind of people who usually do this, that a lot of people see on like social media, are like osteopaths and chiropractors.
Yeah.
Physios are also trained, and for people like myself, like sport therapists, we have to do extra training in order to learn that skill.
Right.
Because there's a lot of intricacies within that. You can't just crack the neck, because the C-spine, the cervical spine, the neck actually has different vertebrae in there. So there's a methodology behind it as to why you're doing it, what's the clinical reasoning behind it, and is that person safe to actually do, to have that performed on them. So we have to look at a lot of different things. And in terms of, there's people who I've seen who just do it on Instagram just to put a video out there because it's satisfying.
Yeah, or it's just they think it's cool or something.
They think it's cool. They think it's satisfying. Everyone loves the crack, but the crack isn't important. The crack is that sound is actually just air bubbles within the joint that are being released.
Yeah.
That are being It's called high velocity, low amplitude. That movement, very fast. That's what a manipulation is. It creates a short-term relief. It does. I've been adjusted in the past.
Yeah.
I know what it feels like. Creates a short-term relief, but some people believe it to be the holy grail, and I'm like, come on, man. There's actually probably, in my opinion, safer methods to get the same result. But you know, some people, I feel you have to. That's why I say make sure the person is insured and qualified. Because trust me, I've seen people in gyms do it, bro. Just
Really?
crack people's necks, PTs, and I'm like, yo, what's going on here? And it's like, you know, before I see someone myself, I'm on it. I grill them. And, you know, that's when you'll find out, is this person really who he says he is? Because, you know, don't risk your health, man. You know, it's your body, it's your temple. You have to look after it. You can't just give it to someone else and let them do what they're doing. I've heard people who've been manipulated and they've had numbness in their fingers for weeks after it, bro.
They've had what?
Numbness. They can't feel sensation in their fingers. Because obviously with your neck, you know, we call dermatomes and myotomes. They all affect the dermatomes affect sensation. So you have your nerve roots that come from your neck, and your cervical spine nerve roots, they mainly affect a lot of your upper body. So when you're cracking someone's neck, if you're doing it, your method's incorrect, you're not explaining what you're doing properly, if you're just done the actual technique incorrectly, you can actually have a very detrimental effect on people. There's horror stories recently that I've seen and read about of people going into being paralyzed because of it in America and stuff. So, you know, make sure you
check
who
the
you're going to.
qualifications and
Who you're going to is proper, legit.
Yeah. You know, the cracking off the neck part, I don't even find that difficult. But you know what I find really, really hard? You know when they put that strap on you, on your
white
neck?
strap, yeah.
Bro, and they just pull you like that.
Yeah.
And it's like the spine just split in half. I find that one, I just can't do that.
Yeah.
That one's scary, that one.
That Y strap, it gets a lot of people you have to be very,
So where does that stretch on your back?
So that, it basically it's called a distraction technique.
Right.
With a thrust. So a distraction is when you're creating space within the joints.
Yeah.
And then you're thrusting it to create that kind of release within the actual
in
spinal
your
vertebrae. Your spine. That's actually called a chordate kind of technique, which basically means that the plane of movement that we're doing it in, and it actually is probably the highest grade of manipulation you can do. And if you're not properly trained, you could really do bad to somebody. And I actually not really see many people do that, and the people who I see do it are actually very well qualified. But it's a very you have to be very well skilled to do that technique. That's why I say make sure you're
just checking it.
Checking because.
But how would you know someone's insured? That's the thing. What if they say yes?
Ask them. Ask for proof of it.
What are some of the exercises that you think, like just basic ones that people should do?
I always say do your compound lifts. Compound movements being your squat, your deadlift, your overhead press, your bench press. They're the main kind of compound lifts. I always say look at multi-joint movements because they're the ones that are going to train your body for overall strength, stability. Now, stretching, mobility, that's something that you can incorporate as warm-ups. But, you know, I always say to people, if you're training correctly, you should be training your mobility within the movements you are doing.
Yes.
So if you're squatting, a lot of people always thought, you know, you want to go ass to grass. That's what they say, right?
Yeah.
So are you actually training that movement? So are you, you know, you can do all, you know, the little internal rotations of your hip and all your stretching of your hip flexors and hamstrings. But are you actually getting into that squat movement and working that range of movement? Because that's where you're going to get the best mobility.
Full movement.
Exactly, when you're in that position. So, and, you know, the compound movements are the key movements in my opinion. Barbell row, sorry, I didn't mention that earlier. That's a very big one.
The barbell row.
Barbell row, because it trains your full posterior chain, meaning your whole erectors, your lower back, your glutes also are a secondary muscle. Your hamstrings are a secondary muscle, but obviously your upper back, your latissimus dorsi, so your lats, your traps, your rhomboids, your teres major minor, all the muscle, the main muscle groups in your back are obviously there. And obviously that's a big one for me because it helps with posture issues. So obviously, if you're struggling to get into doing the big movement straight away, you can break them down.
Yeah.
But always try and focus on doing the big compound movements. That's going to affect your overall physical performance.
Because you're doing multiple things at once, innit?
Exactly. And for me, my favorite movement is actually overhead press, barbell. So military press, where you press it over your head.
Really?
Yeah, that's my favorite. The reason for that, obviously when I'm doing the movement, it starts from the ground up. So my feet have to be, in a very solid position.
Yeah.
My glutes have to be engaged. My
Yeah.
core has to be engaged. My shoulders have to be in a position where I can actually perform the movement and have the strength. Plus, I'm actually having to do a movement which is requiring a lot of force, plyometric force sometimes, where you're actually pushing up against the actual weight. But also, when you're in that movement, it obviously trains your joint stability as well. So it's just multifactorial. You're actually training so many different areas in just that certain type of exercise. And that's why I say focus on your compounds, do the big lifts, and that's going to help you. And then, like I say, if you're doing those lifts properly, your mobility, etc., will also be into there. But you can focus your training on, stretching, mobility, but always try and focus on the big lifts first. But if you're struggling to get into those movements, then break it down, break the movements down. How can you break a squat down? For example, you can do lunges, you can do box squats. You can always break the movements down first in order to get there.
Yeah. So what's your plans with your company? Like, look, you've started now, you've been, a year and a half now? About a year and a half?
Yeah.
What's your next plans with your company?
I started this in November 2021.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned earlier in the conversation, that I was actually, I used to live in the Middle East.
Yeah.
I used to live in Dubai, and I had a very good time out there. The 2 years, just under 2 years that I was there, in my head that was like, wow, that I could actually
Live here.
I could actually grow my family here. I could move my family over when I get married. At that time, when I get married, I can raise children here, etc., etc. The reason why I moved back from Dubai was literally the reason why I moved back was literally because I couldn't pursue my type of work in rehab, in therapy over there, just because I couldn't get the DHA license, the Dubai Health Authority license. So they need to have a license to show you're a registered clinician, you have X amount of experience. And obviously I just graduated, so I didn't have 2 years under my belt of experience.
Right.
So I went to a lot of clinics in Dubai to try to speak to people, speak to therapists. I'll be like, yo, how do I, get past this? What do I need to do? And they were like, look, you need to put in the time, you need to put in the hours, go and do your clinical hours. And I bit the bullet. I didn't really, at that time when I was about to leave Dubai, I was like, oh man, am I really giving all this up? Because I was living quite nice in terms of, for a 21-year-old, I was loving life, A lot of my boys are like, come on, bro, I'm going to come see you, and had family coming over. It was nice. My sisters came over, and, you had the element of the first time at a young age, you're actually starting to see finances. Before this, I used to work part-time jobs, bro. I used to earn, the minimum wage. So I really had a big change in my life. So I came back. Since I've come back, I've always said, maybe not Dubai, somewhere in the Middle East, I want to go back because I just resonate with that place. I think there's so much opportunity, so much potential. The weather's great, the food's great, the lifestyle's great. It's where I want to be. Now, inshallah, with the will of Allah, like I do, my goal is to eventually move back out to the Middle East. And I want to take Shifa Rehabilitation with me. Because, when you start up a company and, it started up as a small company and I want to make it, like I said, the biggest thing that I can make it. Yeah. And in my head, I can already see it. I can visualize it. And I'm a big believer in that. I'm a big believer in manifesting. And I've talked a lot of things into existence. Alhamdulillah. First, with the will of Allah, like nothing happens without him. But when I actually started thinking about things, I could see it. Like sometimes work, I actually, one of my good friends, Malachi, when I first started working with him, I said to him, I'm going to work with these fighters. 6 months later, I'm working with these fighters. Now, is that coincidence? Is that just my belief in myself, in my skill set? I say, that's 100% the first thing.
Of course.
And
it's a combination of everything, right?
Exactly. So when I moved back from Dubai in 2019, I was like, nah, I'm gonna move back. And I just come back from Dubai 2 weeks ago. Sorry, not 2 weeks ago, in December. I was away for 2 weeks. And I was just there. And I was just, sometimes just having me time. I like sitting there, I was looking around, I was in the hills, Dubai hills, just chilling, looking around. I thought, you know what? Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's good here.
I
like it.
You know what it was? I've got good following from the Middle East. It's crazy. I don't know how it worked out. A lot of followers are from Dubai and Abu Dhabi. A lot of my Instagram followers come from Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
Wow.
When I was there, people are messaging me, can we book in? I'm like, yo, I'm on here on holiday. I mean, I love to, bro. I love to,
yeah.
but they're literally saying like, yo, can you come and see us? We've been looking at your work.
Well, you've got a client base there, then, isn't it? So it's
There's
something
potential.
that
There's
is
potential.
A lot of potential down there.
And you know what? Going back to the point of manifesting. So this is something that I don't really tell many people, and I think it's where self-belief comes into it.
Yeah.
So when I first ever went to Dubai, this was prior to me even moving there. I've been twice before that on holidays with my best friend and also my elder cousin.
Yeah.
When I went the first time with my elder cousin, this is talking about 2014, my first year of college. I remember I stayed on JBR, and we just out at night, you know, we were chilling, and I turned around, and this first time I've ever seen it, I looked at JBR, so I seen the whole buildings, and I looked at all the lights, and I also walked past in the Sea Marina, and just in myself, and I said, I'm gonna live here.
Yeah.
I said it then. Couple of years later, that opportunity came.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't know. People call me weird because of it.
It's not. You have to though. You have to believe it. You have to like have self-belief, and then you have to like you said, you have to vision it, and then it happens.
Exactly. And I think that's what it is with Shifa. Like I have a visual. I know, inshallah, where I want to take this.
Yeah.
All I have to do is work my ass off.
Yep. And which you're doing, right?
Put my nose to the ground and work.
Yeah.
Continue to improve. Continue to learn every single day.
Yeah.
And that's you know, I want to go move back to the Middle East. I want to raise my family in the Middle East. That's my goal.
That's your goal.
That's my goal, and that's where I want to take Shifa Rehabilitation.
What are some of your financial goals? Let's discuss financial goals.
Yeah.
How much money do you want to make?
I want to make enough money that I can handle and I'm responsible with.
Yeah.
Because, you know, money's a big motivator. But, you know, because I'd seen money when I was younger.
Yeah.
So I was earning triple the amount in Dubai when I was 21 than when I came back.
Right.
So I'd seen money.
Yeah.
So there was an element of money and passion. My passion is what I want to follow. That's going to eventually lead to me being financial freedom, financial stability.
Yeah.
There's a lot of goals that I have.
Yeah.
Firstly, I want to, make
sure. Why don't you manifest some goals now on thingy, and then we will look back at it in a year's time. And then...
I think, first and foremost, I want to make sure that my parents are comfortable.
Yeah, that's so nice.
That's the main thing for me, because I am who I am because of them, point blank. I want to make sure my wife, when I have children, my children, they're comfortable. But I also want to teach my children that nothing's given in life.
Yeah.
You have to earn it. Just the way my dad said to me, you got to go out and earn it. Financially, I want to be in a position where I'm comfortable, but I want to also give back. Because for me, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Shifa, like I say, when you come back to the name of Shifa, like it means, it's one of the names of Allah. I want to really start this company with a noble cause. And eventually, I want to actually, when I'm in a position where, for example, I've moved over to the Middle East, my company's running, I have recovery centres, sports massage centres, etc. I want to then eventually actually, do in the work of charity and actually helping people in less privileged countries, help them, get access to certain facilities like physiotherapy centres, like exercise centres, like massage centres, maybe like even stuff like eye camps, people who, just elements of their physical health, providing food, like, there's so many. I just want to really focus my energy on that.
What are some of the like pitfalls and downfalls you see in like other therapists? What you think that, they're just giving us a really, really bad name?
A lot of therapists are not confident in themselves.
Okay.
And when I say confident, is that you can be book smart. You can be the most book smart person in the world. If you can't apply that, then there's no point. You know what I mean? If you're not a good communicator with people, then there's no point. A lot of people, like I say, it's going back to the point of just getting that Instagram fame, just doing stuff for followers. Followers means nothing, bro.
Yeah.
Followers mean nothing. Results talk.
That's it. Yeah.
So that's what I say. So in terms of what downfalls I see in therapists, they're all just trying to chase clout. They all want to work with big people, but they're not actually really focusing on improving their skill set.
Improving themselves, right?
Improving themselves. They're just about wanting to be Instagram famous, or wanting to do this, want to do that.
Yeah.
It means nothing. It genuinely means nothing. There's no satisfaction in that, man. And in this work, what you bring to the table is the results you bring.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that why you stand out as well, is because you're not just doing it for the money. You're doing it because you're actually passionate about it.
100%.
And it shows in your work as well.
Yeah. I always say I'm grateful for, you know, these two hands,
Yeah.
these two legs, this head, this brain.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for it because I've I've traveled as well since I was a young age. I've seen a lot in the world, and you know, you really must be an ungrateful person if you don't actually value yourself and actually, you know, say thanks to God for,
Yeah.
you know, what you have. So a lot of people don't. A lot of people take stuff for granted, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes I even think of it. Sometimes I wake up and my elbow's sore because maybe I've done like 5-6 sessions in a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? God forbid one day,
Yeah.
you know, something like an injury happens to me. That could be my whole income cut off. That could be my whole life gone.
Yeah.
So
So everything, like, even though, just look at it from a fresh and a positive angle, right?
be grateful for
Be
everything. bro.
grateful, innit?
Yeah, be grateful for everything because trust me, it takes a split second for it to go. Like I've seen brothers whose lives have changed and whose lives have ended within a split second. Stupid decisions, wrong environment, so many things that can lead to that. So always keep your head screwed on.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm a family man. I always have been and always will be.
Yeah.
And that's my purpose in life. You know, my parents, my wife, when I have kids, my siblings. That's my purpose in life. I want to make them proud.
Yeah.
I want to make them proud, but also like my grandparents who have raised me as well. You know, I want to, you know, actually be.
You're a family guy, innit?
I'm a family guy. I want to be someone who, in my family lineage, stands out.
I think you'll be the one in your family that just changed the game,
Inshallah.
you know, for everyone. Because just the way you're saying it as well, like, for my kids, and
Yeah.
you're already thinking, like, generations into the
100%.
future, aren't you?
110%. Look, at the end of the day, I always say I'm never going to let my grandfather's, my father's efforts go to vain.
Yeah.
We live in a society where a lot of lads my age are just in the wrong thing, man. Like they're just they're out chasing, you know, the worldly things, the material things.
Yeah.
You know, they're all like, you see half of them, they're outside, bro, in the cars or groups of boys having balloons with what they call cream whips or something like that, inhaling balloons, having vapes, and I'm like, yo, there's more to life than that, bro. Like, there's a lot more to life. Like, have a purpose in life, because at the end of the day, you're here today, you're gone tomorrow.
Yep.
You want to be remembered for something.
So true.
You know
so
what I mean?
true.
And that's it.
How many kids do you want?
Well, however many Allah blesses me with, bro. Honestly, like, you know,
As many, right?
it's never a number.
I want a football team.
Yeah, you know, it's never a number. Obviously, I've got to, you know, see what my missus has to say about that, of course. But you know what?
Yeah.
For me, it's just like, you know, whatever Allah blesses me. And you know what? The truth is, I want enough, as many children that I can actually be responsible for and actually make sure I don't lack in their lives as a father. I want to be a good father. I want to be present all the time. I want to teach them not just world, but life. Because there's a difference there.
100%.
You know, there's world and there's life lessons that you will learn. And I want to be there, like, you know, my father's been great to me, man. Like, he's been the sole earner for the family. Since a young age, all I've ever seen my dad do is graft.
Really?
Literally, all I've ever seen him do is graft and work hard. And he's raised 4 kids. He looked after his parents. He gave my mum a beautiful life. A beautiful house. His kids are successful. Some are going to have children. Some are, you know, happily married, doing everything they want to do. So I take inspiration from him. I always say to everybody, if I am at least, you know, let's say not even 0.01% of the man that my father is, I've made it in life, bro. You know what I mean? Because he holds a very high status for me in my life. And obviously my mother, I can never repay my mother back, man. No way in hell. Like, you know, my parents for me mean everything. Everything more than life itself. Like, I could do anything for them. And I just want to repay them. I could never repay them back. I could never repay them back. That's a fact. But I want to be able to give whatever's
something back.
left of my life with them.
That is so powerful. And you're married, right? How long have you been married for?
Alhamdulillah, I'm married. Been married. This is our 3rd year of marriage.
3rd year?
Yeah.
Has it presented any challenges?
You know
this
what?
one might get you in trouble.
No. You know what? I'm actually not even gonna.
Or is she very understanding of what you're doing and supports you all the way?
You know what? She is the most beautiful woman inside and out. My wife. Honestly, like, there's nothing. Throughout all the time that I've known my wife and we've been married, like, she's the most supportive person ever. Like, literally, bro, I'll come home after 10-hour, 11-hour graft, and she'll make sure like my mum and my wife, because they're like mother and daughter.
Right.
There's no like daughter-in-law, nothing like that. It's mother and daughter. But my wife and my mum, they make sure there's food there, that I have fresh clothes, that I'm looked after. They massage my hands. You know what I
Really?
mean? My wife actually massages my hands to make sure I'm okay. So alhamdulillah, I could not be
You need
more
to
blessed.
give some advice out, bro. Where do you find these
Bro, I
women
always,
from?
you know what, man. There's, women. If you have to look after a woman. You know what I mean? You're a man.
Yeah.
I'm a provider. That's what I am. And my wife, she's just got a lovely heart, man. She's a teacher by trade. She's a maths teacher, and even the children that she teaches, those children literally look at her like a big sister almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they are so attached to her, and she treats them like they're her kids. And it's, again, going back to sincerity, doing what you do, and that's why she's very successful in what she does. And even her, she's got a huge future, man.
Yeah.
And I'll support her in anything she wants to do. I'll be there 110%.
Yeah, well, it just goes to show the character, really, where she's come from as well, and and then you two together, you're just dangerous, aren't you? In a good way.
You know what? And it all comes down to her upbringing and her parents, her family, her brothers, everyone who she's grown up around.
Yeah.
They've just molded her.
Yeah.
And she's of a beautiful family. Like when people get married, they have this common thing like in-laws. And I swear to God, since the first day my rishta, my marriage got fixed, there was no in-laws. They're my parents.
Yeah.
My missus, mum and dad are my parents. Her brothers are my brothers. There's no thing, and vice versa. She treats the exact same way.
Yeah.
And just that bond, it just fuels me.
Elevates everything.
It elevates everything. It fuels me like, her mum's beautiful. Like in terms of the person she is, her father motivates me. He's a businessman by background as well. Okay. So he teaches me a lot. He shares his knowledge. He tells me how to maybe improve in certain things. And sometimes I need that because this is the first of a business I've ever done.
Yep.
So I'm always picking and alhamdulillah, it keeps me grounded. It reminds me every day when I wake up what I'm doing this for. And plus, one big thing I really want to talk about is my little brother. So I have a little brother. He's
your little brother, yeah?
My little brother.
Yeah.
He is like, when you have a clone and you can look in the mirror. If I were to look in the mirror, I won't see myself. I'll see my little brother. It's the way he is for me. Like, he means so much to me. Like, when he was younger, I always said, I want to make sure, because I always knew my dad was busy.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that he never feels that he can't come to me for anything. If I tell you, like, he's a grafter, like he just got it instilled into him. I don't know what it is, and I already know he's gonna be 10 times the more successful that I will be.
Yeah, so you've created in your brother what you wanted for yourself.
Better than that.
He's seen that, and now he's becoming even better, right?
He's got so much potential, and like I said, I'm just gonna support him in everything. He was in high school saying to me, yeah, I want to be a mechatronic engineer. I want to move to the Middle East.
Really?
I want to move to Qatar. I'm looking at him like, wow, which kid at your age? Now he works 2 jobs. He trains in the gym every single day.
How old is he?
18. He just turned 18.
Wow, okay.
He'd been working since he was 16, same as me, working since he was 16. So he'd seen me work when I was at 16 years old.
Yeah.
I used to work in W8 Smiths. I used to push trolleys and come back with like sandwich marks all over me. So we've been through a bit of the hard graft. And I said to him, you're not going to get everything handed to you. You got to work.
Yeah.
And he sees that. And you know what? His discipline is unmatched. He trains. I'm talking, he's more disciplined in his training than I am.
Yeah.
We wake up, we've got a routine where we wake up at 4:45, 5 a.m. in the morning, we pray and then we go to the gym. If I don't wake up after the first alarm, he will ring me.
Really?
Get your backside up, what are you doing? I want to train back today. You know what I mean? He'll put it on me, he sticks it on me, and I love it.
Because you need that accountability, innit?
Exactly, accountability. I need to be there every day. And I want to be there for him. I want him to be like, B's my big brother.
Yeah.
And I just want to show to him, like, look, bro, you're going to make it. Like, I know you're going to make it. I already see you making it. And, we're going to give mum and dad the best life they can have. We're going to give, when you get married, you have kids. When, with my wife, we're all going to live a beautiful life. My sisters, I've got 2 beautiful sisters. They mean the world to me.
Yeah.
My family's everything to me, bro. If you were to tell me, like, everything could stop today, the only thing you keep is your family, I say, alhamdulillah, bro.
Do you make any investments as well, like with what you make? Or at the moment, are you just focusing on just making money and just for your family? Or do you not look at any investments at the moment?
It's something I really want to do.
Yeah.
It's something I really want to do. My wife, she's got a maths background.
A maths
mathematics,
background,
yeah,
yeah,
mathematics. So she's the perfect person when it comes to understanding
Numbers, right?
investment, numbers, all that game. So it is something I want to do right now. I'll be honest with you. I'm just focused on building capital
Yeah.
because that's what's needed
Just
right
building
now.
your pot right now.
Building the pot.
You got a kid coming as
Got
well.
a kid coming. Yeah, I want to make sure everything's covered.
Well, by the time this podcast come out, it might have already, delivered by then.
Inshallah. I hope inshallah everything goes sweet and yeah.
Yeah. So you are looking to invest, but not just right now. Right now, you're just building capital.
I want to learn what are the best things to invest in because you know what it is. I just don't want to
Crypto?
invest. You know what? A lot of my friends actually, look at crypto and they work and they do like full-time traders. One of my boys is a full-time trader. That's what he does. That's his.
I think right now is a good time to buy.
But it
wasn't in 2020 last
in my
year.
opinion, I say I don't really know much about these things.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I want to invest in something that I'm also
You
passionate
know about.
I know about. I'm passionate about. Properties, I'm going to have to learn from you, Ibby.
Yeah,
what I mean?
Well,
That's
listen,
like, how
property is
do I
a
do?
great way to build wealth, and for your future and for your generations. And property, but it is a long-term game.
100%.
It's not something that I know people preach out there. You can do it overnight, but nah.
No, 100%.
It's a long-term game, but it's really good because even if you have a 5-year or 10-year plan and you just follow it, eventually 10-year flies by, right?
Yeah.
And you're only young.
27, bro. So yeah, it is something that I want to look at. To be honest, I don't really have much knowledge on it. I actually want to do something that is actually going to benefit others as well. So that's my long term. I want to look at things that can benefit others. There are a lot of things I maybe want to dwell into in the future. But right now, it's just a matter of actually just focusing on putting my head down, working, gaining a good pot, and then expanding out from there.
Yeah. So is there any final messages that you want to share if we've not covered anything?
Yeah, man. There's one thing I want to say to anyone who watches this podcast, and it's a takeaway message that you are your biggest investment.
Facts.
You're your own asset.
Facts. Yeah.
If a lot of people, what they do is they look at other things to invest in.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to invest in crypto. I'm going to invest in stocks. I'm going to invest in a property. I'm going to invest in whatever it may be, gold. But have you actually looked after yourself, bro?
Yep. So true.
If this works, and this works, your body,
everything else
works.
Yeah.
And that's when you're going to start to reap the benefits. You have one body.
Yep.
Be grateful for it. And look after it. Do everything you can to look after it.
Yeah.
And always remember that it's not about motivation. This is not a short-term thing. It's discipline.
Yep.
Discipline's everything. Discipline takes over motivation by a long stretch, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I say the same to people. I say just invest in yourself. You're your biggest asset, right?
110%.
And it's so true. Guys, listen, he's the man. I'm telling you, he's the best for recovery. I have him religiously every week, so thank you for coming on and sharing everything that you did.
Yeah, thank you, Ibby. Thank you for your time. Thanks to the team as well. So it's been lovely. I hope you guys could benefit from some of my experiences. That's the main thing.
I think they definitely did. I think everybody would have, because so many gems that you threw in there, which is going to be really, really helpful to people. Yeah, so I can't wait for this episode to come out.
Yeah, man. Just give Shafar Rehabilitation a follow and follow the journey, man.
Yeah,
follow the journey.
And what we'll do is we'll put everything in the description below anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
So that everyone will know who you are.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah.